Hey y'all, Eric Adcock, This Awkward Life. Today is Wednesday, March the 4th, 2026, around 8:55 p.m. And this is my attempt to do a podcast every day in the year of 2026. You know, when I was a kid, my parents, if I heard it once, I heard it 1.5 million times, a phrase they would say when I'd start to act up, and I did act up. They wouldn't give me this long lecture. They didn't pull out a parenting book. They said 2 words, act right. Sometimes they come out a little stronger, like, boy, you better act right. And that was usually enough when I was younger. They didn't have to explain it to me. There was no definition written on the refrigerator. But somehow I knew exactly what they were saying. They wasn't just talking about that moment. They were talking about how a person carries themselves. Act right meant, show respect. More like control yourself. Don't embarrass us and the people who raised you. It meant that even if I was mad or tired, and I got mad and tired a good bit, I still had a responsibility. My parents want me to act a certain way, govern my behavior. The idea was interesting to me now as a 53-year-old because somewhere along the way, people in society have started shifting the conversation. Instead of asking people to act right, we started encouraging people to simply express how they feel. And feelings matter, don't get me wrong, but look at any reel where someone shows out at an airport because they get upset about something, and all of a sudden, fists are flying, or road rage accidents are just, everywhere these days. Feelings were never meant, to be the steering wheel of our lives. They're more like the lights on the dashboard, I think. And they tell you that something's going on, but they're not supposed to drive the car. Man, when my parents said act right, they were saying something powerful without saying many words. They're saying, you know what, you better straighten up, and you're capable of doing better than what you're doing now. It's actually a pretty hopeful message. It assumes something about the person. Like me, I felt like they were telling me that I could do better. It assumes that you have the ability to choose your response, and that idea builds strong people. If somebody would think before they got mad at someone accidentally cutting them off or purposely cutting them off, where it leads to, or someone gets mad at a fast food restaurant. Oh, my God. Someone gets mad because some fries aren't right, and all of a sudden you're YouTube famous because you start a fight and the police get there and you get pepper sprayed and everything like that. It builds, learning how to act right builds strong people because we only act according to how we feel. If we only act according to how we feel, life will get messy pretty quick. Ask some of these folks that get YouTubed to death because they have 15 seconds of fame because they got in a fight over a Happy Meal. If you learn how to act right when you don't feel right, something good happens. You get self-control, discipline, which is so hard. Those things don't show up overnight. You learn them in small amounts. Moments when someone looks at you and says, you know what, do better, act right. Now that I'm older, I realize that. My parents weren't trying to suppress who I was. They wasn't trying to do that. They were trying to shape me into somebody, a decent, respectable, law-abiding human being. Because the truth is, no one starts out fully formed. We all have to have those moments when someone sets us down and say, you better act right. We need someone to remind us that we can do that. And honestly, the world could probably use a lot more of that. Seems like we just need an old church mother or just an old teacher to come by. Some people say, you know what, act right. Used to, if young people were arguing or something like that, an older person could calm them down and say, there's a respect level there. And so act right. How about that? I'm going to learn how to act right. Sometimes the shortest lessons are the ones that stay with you longest, and sometimes they're those lessons we need to hear again. And hopefully I've learned how to act. Man, I hope so. Hey, y'all, streak continues. I appreciate y'all listening. Have a good night. Goodbye.